couple things about rational exponents that I did not talk about in the first video. So first thing, like if we're dealing with fractions, okay? So if we have like 25 over 49 to the 1/2, okay? When we do that, we're going to go ahead and distribute the 1/2 to the top and bottom. So this becomes 25 to the 1/2 over 49 to the 1/2, which we've known how to do because of exponent rules that we talked about earlier in this chapter. And then I'm going to rewrite these as radicals. So this becomes the square root of 25, and I can write my little 2 there if I want, but I don't have to, over the square root of 49. And then we can just simplify the top, simplify the bottom. Okay, so the square root of 25 is 5, and if you need to, you can break it down and be like, oh, that's 5 times 5, and 2 buddies, pull 1 out. Okay, and the square root of 49 is 7. So these are 2 that I asked you to memorize. So if you memorize those, you can get your problem done faster. Otherwise, you really have to think about what goes into all those numbers. Okay, and if it was like a cube root or a fifth root or whatever, you still do the same thing. You separate it top to bottom and look at each one. Okay, all right. Let's talk about if we have like 216 to the 2/3. Okay, what that means is we have the cube root of 216 squared. Now if I want to break that down, okay, so that way I have it as simplified as possible, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write 216 2 times, instead of actually multiplying it in the calculator and getting some big number and then trying to break it down. Because what happens is if I break down 216, okay, 216 is divisible by 6 and 36. 6 breaks down into 3 and 2. 36 breaks into 6 and 6, which also breaks down into 3 and 2 for each one. And my 3's and 2's are prime. Okay, so again, I need 3 buddies in order to pull 1 out. So I have a set of 3, so I'm going to pull 1 3 out, and then I'm going to pull a set of 2 out. Okay, now this 216 will have a branch looking exactly like this, right? So I don't even really have to do it because I know I pulled a 3 out from the first one and a 2 out from the first one. So you can just repeat it. And then 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 times 6 is 36. So 216 to the 2/3 is equivalent to 36. Okay, let's do another one like that. So let's say I have 8 to the 5/3. Okay, so that would mean I have the 3rd root of 8 to the 5th, which is really the 3rd root of 8 5 times. Now remember, one too many, sorry guys. Okay. Now remember, we're looking for 3 buddies. I already see that we have 3 8s, so there's really no reason to go ahead and break down more numbers, right? If I already have 3 buddies, right, there's just gonna end up breaking down to a bunch of 2's that multiply together to be 8. So I can definitely pull out 1 8. But then these 8's don't have a lot of buddies, but I can break these down, so I'm gonna break it down a little bit further. And 4 and 2 and 2 and 2, and I see that I have a set of 3, right? All right, there's a set of 3 for that 8, and this 8 would have the same set of 3, so I can pull out another 2. So 8 times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. Okay. Now again, if you wanted to, you could break down all of these and be like, well, 8 breaks down into 3 sets of 2, and I just keep repeating that. Okay. One other thing, there is some shortcuts. So let's say I have 600, okay, and I know that that is 106, and 6 breaks down into 10 and 10, and 6 breaks down into 3 and 2. Now 10 and 10 are not prime, but they are buddies. So if you have a number like 49 or 100 or 25 that you know goes into a number, you can choose that one to make your job a little bit faster, okay? Again, you can totally break down the 10 into the 5 and 2, 5 and 2. It's going to still come out 10 in the end. So this would be 10 square roots of 3 times 2, which is 6, because this has to be multiplied back together to get my inside number. I hope this video finds you well, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.